That's it. Well, not really news, but two fact.
Yay!
You mean we're smoking dog shit, man?
How'd that sound?
Welcome back to That Smoke Show. What's going on, Evil Deadly? How you doing this evening?
Welcome back. Welcome back. Doing well, man. Been a hot week.
It has been. It's been beautiful out here. I'm not
It,
complaining. We don't get enough warm weather up here. So I'll take every little bit I can get.
as long as you don't have any fire nearby, it's gonna be good.
You know what? We just had one spring up around here. My wife sent me the stuff on it today. Up in there's two around here, both out of control.
I know the other week we're watching for north of Canada, and my part wasn't too bad, at least this year. But yeah, we got enough rain, I would say, for now. Um, the bees were starting to get enough honey, but the hive, for my part, they are not big enough this year to say that you're gonna, I'm gonna see the flow or not. But the goldenrod is starting right now, so it's like the second harvest, whatever, or third
Okay.
harvest for some. So when the goldenrod are starting, normally you're gonna see hours of light going closer to, well, I think we are 14 right now, maybe around 14 and a half, something like that. We are around 14 at least, maybe 15, just barely 15, and it going down like that. As soon as it go at 14 hours of light, normally if you people have found all their male plant, if they grow weed, pretty sure right now they are still cutting few of them that start to pop out. But yeah, for now we're pretty much into what's a flowering phase of fall for most of the flower.
Well,
So yeah,
as a package update, we cover package update. Still nothing has come to my mailbox. Evil Deadly. Still, I
yeah,
don't
man.
understand what happened. I
I
don't
think
know
there's
what
a
pissed off, but
problem of delivery from the door to the post office.
that, that little couple feet. I would happily even send the money for postage. I don't care. Just get it to here.
Yeah, that's another
It'd
story.
be
I'm
nice.
like, dude, that's not even me. That's a problem. The guy's like, yeah, silence radio. But
Well,
yeah, that's I don't know what
people are
happened with.
busy.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that corner. Yeah. We got some funny news here for the week. You know how they started to realize that it was maybe not that good of an idea to legalize 2 gram of cocaine and heroin and stuff like that in Vancouver?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, we decided we're gonna do it since it wasn't working that good. Because we are way better than you guys.
since the Amsterdam model didn't work, and we're having way more opiate overdose than we've
No, no,
ever
no,
had
no, no. But
before. It was
they
way
tried to
more.
do
Oh
Portugal
yeah,
way. Okay, so
yeah. But then no, they didn't. No, but they didn't try to do Portugal way. They tried to do their version of Portugal way.
yeah,
Portugal,
yeah,
Portugal,
their version.
they go and get you the good drugs. They bring you the good drugs, and they sell you better drugs than you're probably getting from the street dealer because it's uncut, and the government provides it to you.
Oh
Then they
no, no,
also
but
use.
that thing is just some project like it wasn't that widespread. But man, you're making me think at something quite. Oh man, what's the fucking name?
See
The
the
guy that was
Portuguese.
doing Pot TV that that died recently. He was giving away edible for the drug addict and people in the street like that. Really are the sick people that cannot afford. or a joint, and he had edible or a joint, and it was like some trim or whatever, like a good regular bud, whatever, really cheap. And one thing that I've found really strange is Dana Larson had his license to open the crazy shop that he've opened with some. I think he had coca tea and some mushroom and different things like that. At the same time, they had the project of the city saying, "Oh yeah, we'll allow that for a small quantity," and you have like the program you say that we're trying to deliver safe drug to the people in
Yeah.
smaller amount and whatever. They are all a bit different project, but for the people that were giving cannabis, they've been arrested crazy, and one of them is dead. You know, I mean, that's not the harassment that have killed him, but the stress of it have influenced on the outcome. It surely stressed people.
I don't.
I just find it a bit sad because we try to find solutions for some people that may not have to be on hard drug and things like that. But at the same time, I'm thinking, who's making more money on the back of those drug addict or really sick people? It's surely not those people that tried to provide some cannabis. Because what I found a bit shocking is some people may disagree on the fact that cannabis could be good, but they project something that it's like if they were worse than the people that do some political credit on the back of those junkie. So I just yeah, there's something there. It's a bit strange, but we had something in the news here that they say that Quebec have the digitalized whatever. Yeah, anyway, they won't bring you a bit, charge you for possession of drug if it's have to look at the detail. They say it will be only small quantity of whatever the drug, but it's surely more toward the junkie themselves, so that they will try to criminalize even more the drug dealer of some of those crazy stuff. Because for cannabis, I mean, it's the government that is the drug dealer here, so uh, yeah, maybe there's some other people, but the biggest sell right now are legally. Um, so they've not even warned the police, and so that police will still bring them kind of. So like the way that they act right now won't
Yeah.
be changed because of that. That's what the police
Ah.
corp have said, that they will still do the work like they used to do it.
Nice. We don't care that
I've
you
read the whole
changed the
article a
law.
couple of times, and I'm saying I'm trying to find back some information on it to try to explain well the news, but I'm honestly really confused.
There's nothing better than the people you pay to keep the laws telling you they're not enforcing the laws that you are changing.
No, they will still charge the system with those people, and now you guys in the system wanted to do that. Deal with it. We don't change anything for now. That's what because they've not been informed anyway, so they're kind of right to act like that. It's kind of a pressure back to their boss. but, but
Little.
that that's confusing though. Like if the government is selling the cannabis, well, it's a reseller. Well, don't we can just like ask to the drug dealer now to have like their part in the SQDC, that it will be like all others, and you have, I don't know, crack cocaine and powder cocaine and heroin and whatever else without fentanyl. Uh, You can ask cut on or uncut. I don't know what kind of shop it could be, man. I'm really curious if it could be possible, but I surely don't want to go buy a joint for a party and being like, "Holy crap, that guy is super sick and he needs those." It, I feel cheap for the guy. I'm not no longer want to go buy a joint for the party. I don't know. I'm like in another mood. That's weird. So I don't know if it will make a big difference for now, for since they want to change it. But there's something I've understood on how they work here. It seemed like a lot of people will be kept busy. Whatever the decision of the elite, a lot of people will get busy on that it work or not. And those that try to say, oh, it doesn't work, well, they will just lose their time against people that just have to do their job and they have strict instruction on how to do it. So you got opinion and the other side. Yeah, it will just be a mess that people fight for nothing, just losing their time, nothing change, and we're just gonna spend money on a lot of different stuff like that, I guess. I'm kind of not sure exactly how we could apply a decision for that will help the people that are junkie hard drugs kind of thing. But when I've watched a podcast this week that was saying how cheap the crystal meth is for the Chinese a Chinese gang itself that like started to take over everywhere, Australia, Canada, everywhere, and they were really strong in Canada, and they were providing meth in huge quantity and a quality that just to make it,
Yeah.
it will cost the same thing or more.
Huh.
So they were like, "Oh, it's already done," you know. A bit like when we've heard about the story of the big cartel in Mexico doing really huge quantity of those kind of chemical drug. Um, they have laboratory that are like big, like place where to extract food here, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, huge.
So yeah, so that's surely easy for them to do big quantity of that kind of produce, and that's not like on the podcast I was making the comparison to do a crop of opium, making some opium to transform into heroin. It take a whole year to do their stuff, and you need a lot of people to go scrap each of those bulb of those flower, So it take a lot of people to do that at that time, and a specific time everyone need to go do that. A bit like when we're harvesting wheat back then. Everyone on the village is on it. So and sadly, the opium when they do those crop, it's something that could go well in some place where the value of the food for how remote they are is not
Yeah,
enough. So it can have a good trade for them. I know it's not good to say that way, but for a crop, they are able to get a better value that will be able to transport more far away anyway. So they have an incitement on that side. But when come to make chemical drug, it could be a guy in a freaking jungle having a setup lab there with a generator and doing his thing. That's how they transform the base of cocaine. They do that in a jungle. But
yeah,
doing that kind of thing is a disaster for the land because you got like 1,000 gallon of waste to drop. I'm just making up number, but you're gonna get like a couple kilo of pasta for 1,000 gallon of juice that just toxic waste. So if it's that or paraquat, it's not better for the land, right? So law enforcement or the small lab like that, it's not better. And what they do when they catch a lab like that, they set fire to it because there's also some gasoline that they use to extract for the cocaine, and they can set fire to that, and that it's less of a danger over time to burn what's left there than leaving it leach everywhere, from what I understand. But there's a big dark cloud, and on top of it, it's middle of the jungle. There's some green stuff and plastic green. Anyway, but they set up a lab just beside after. Or when they tap into, like I've seen in Africa, when they tap into the petrol line of Brut. Well, when they purify it, there's so much crap and all oil left over that they use to burn, to boil everything and stuff like that. It gets spilled everywhere because when sometimes they are on a kind of long boat, that the floating line is get lower because they've just filled the boat with gasoline,
Huh.
like brute gasoline, and they go extract it into those kind of made up steel with some barrel. So when come to all kind of makeshift extraction of any kind like that it be drug or that petrol stuff, it's always on the land. The On long term, the biggest threat I think for those population, if they don't consume that produce,
Yeah.
it's all those waste like that will impact their ability to cultivate. They'll be sick, having cancer, whatever. And we're like sometimes, oh, the big corporation or the wars. Well, the big corporation are not as bad than that for now. They are managing a lot better. I'm not saying everything is nice, but if I remember when I was kids, it was worse. So there's already some advance in it. But yeah, I just find it really sad, man. I just think that if it's the cheapest thing to get some chemical drug like that, how you fight it now? Now, like the cheat code is already publicly available.
Yeah.
You won't
Uh,
be rich growing weed, man. You may make some money, but you won't be rich like
Not anymore.
those guy. I don't know if you're moving
Not anymore. You got to go back to
crystal meth
nutty.
from Mexico or China or
It
whatever,
was
man. Those people
still
make
always
top
bigger money.
money. They make a lot more money than the guy growing a couple plant in his backyard. Come on. I don't think that guy is making money. In fact, everyone's smoking weed already. So
I don't
yeah,
know.
I
I
think
like
it's the
doing it
biggest threat.
2,500 pounds.
That 2,500 pound of
2,500 a pound. I liked when it was prices were back then.
oh, but for the retail right now, they sell it more than that, man.
Is it really?
Yeah, it depends exactly on which produce itself. I could look at the website, but uh, I've seen some stuff around $5-6 the cheaper by gram, and you can have around think 15, even 22 by gram, like for some hashish or type of thing like that. But just remember, where I am, we got dried cauliflower. So yeah.
Sat down with the drug cauliflower. What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, if as a teenager I was wishing that it could be legal, it wasn't for eating infused cauliflower with CBD or low THC dose. Never been in my sweetest dream. No. I don't know if you've ever dreamed of cauliflower. No.
No, I can't say.
I wish I could, but I don't. Uh, no, maybe it's not that bad. That's like a freeze-dried cauliflower that I think they spray some kind of oil with CBD and low THC, depending on the version you take. But yeah, I think I've
What?
said it
What?
before,
Seriously?
but when I've tried the best stuff, like on the taste wise,
Yeah, yeah.
I was just really upset to pay that much, but I was really happy for how good it was tasting on some produce I've tried. But I will be honest, I've never been higher on any of those that they sell here on the edible. And one time I was like, oh, I got 3 packages. I've eat them 3. And I was think I'm a bit sleepy. I just don't notice it, but I think it was like not enough. I need a bit stronger than that. I don't really enjoy taking an all if I'm not sick. I really need to sleep well or something like that. But I was really curious on how good they were for the taste, or and mostly for me, what was the most interesting for that kind of thing is if they have a good dosage.
Yeah.
Because I never really knew what I was doing that much, and when people have tried to teach me on how to really properly do things like that, I was like, well, I will let you do the recipe. Uh, all I know is that sometime I wasn't decarbing or mixing, or I don't know, I wasn't mixing it with the right thing. I was just scared to take it because one time you feel like barely something, and the other time you're super passed out for a day and a half. So yeah, you never know exactly. I was like, okay, I'm trying it Friday, and we do nothing this weekend. No, I think that at least for some people that had stuff in Ontario, they say that there's a lot of good produce, but sometimes it doesn't do shit, and it's supposed to be quite strong. And you take the other part of what you've ate, and then it hit you. So I'm not sure if just some produce that it doesn't equalize well, but I've heard some different things on how it's not because everything have been mixed that it doesn't like change into it after that on the shelf. Like if you have like more oil on one side than the other side, or sometimes it get kind of absorbed more on one side. So I'm not sure, but what have got me really high in the past was those gummies. Every time kind of gummies that some of my friends did it, uh,
Yeah.
you know, and we've took some, and holy shit, that thing was really hitting the point for me. Uh, yeah, that was like I was able to manage the dosage, but my problem is that it tastes good. So I go back to it when I'm high, and I'm waking up the day after being not really aware that I'm awake. I'm like, it's like if it was the same day for me, I'm still on the party night, and I'm waking up like that and being like, hey, that coffee doesn't work. I cannot go out. Fuck, I'm still high. I've happened a couple of times like that, so I'm careful now. But yeah, I enjoy when it do that, and I was feeling sick, so it's like a really long duration of good effect. But yeah, I don't know if you had a couple experience on the edible side, but for me, gummies is the best shit. It's like when they do are you would like with the alcohol and then let it evaporate, like how you call that thing? It kind of tincture, and then they
Oh
mix it
yeah,
with
chatter.
yeah. So
I've
that work.
one of the funniest stories was one of my buddies, um, my dealer. I don't know where he got gummies out of nowhere, and there were 4 different colors and flavors, and for some reason the orange ones were just hot. They were just hot as fuck. Like they would knock you right on your ass, but nobody knew that. So we had all tried the other flavors first, and we gave one to my buddy. He's like, how strong are they? I'm like, I don't know, like 50 milligrams, maybe. That's about what the other ones were. You needed 2 or 3 of them to really get anywhere crazy. And so,
I don't think
anyways,
it's 50 Oh, I don't know. Yeah, maybe we feel better. For me,
you know,
50 milligram, I start to feel it.
50 milligrams is where I start to feel it too. I would
Yeah.
agree with you that way, but I would say we're both heavy users. So, anyways, he uh he takes off driving. He smokes regularly and stuff, but not too much. But like just your kind of average buddy that doesn't smoke as much. He's not a pothead, but he burns enough. Anyways, he takes off and he's like he gets he's driving and he's like 30 minutes away from where he's going. So he's like, "Oh, I'll pop it in now and it'll just kick in as I'm arriving." And he ate it and within I don't know 15 minutes like he couldn't even drive his truck. He pulled over to the side of the highway and he just called me and our other buddy and he's like, "Yo, dude, like I'm so fucked. Like I
Yeah,
need you guys."
mostly when you feel like the warm and you're like I start to be tunnel vision
Oh yeah, he's
and
like
I
my
feel
heart's
like gonna
coming out of my
faint.
chest.
Yeah, the heart go hard. And yeah, it's so funny because you know that
I'm just like, dude,
if you don't
calm
think right
down.
away
You're
that it's
fine.
that, if you don't remember right now that you're gonna be high, you know that something is wrong, and you cannot continue to operate anything that need your brain. You're
Oh
like,
man,
no, 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 it really start. Oh, I
he's
get
like,
out.
no. He's like, I'm fucked. He's like, I'm
That's too
fucked. He's
much.
like, you guys lied to me. He's like, why would you do that to me? He's like, and it hit me instantly. And
Yeah,
he's
what?
like, he's like, you guys need to come get me right now before I get fucking like before cops show up here or
Yeah,
something.
because 15 minutes later, you're gonna be paranoid around his truck and thinking
He's
that
like,
poor guy.
he got so yeah he was so we went and got him. We went and got him, but he was fucked. He was just it was
You
awesome.
see, that's that kind of story that made me always ask to the people that when I had a girlfriend that loved to get, or I guess, uh, really stoned with that kind of thing. Um, sh I was always saying like, okay, if you give them anything like that, you know that you're gonna ask them to be, to not have eaten the last 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours, so that it hit well, and we're gonna take a meal later on with that thing. But at least we know that it won't hit you tomorrow because you've just had it on top of a big meal. So we're like, oh, okay, let's eat some brownies and drink a coffee. And the brownies were magic brownies. So we I'm there at home with a girl that my girlfriend have invited, and I knew that girl was sometime doing party and some party pills. So I was like, okay, she think that she know that, but I knew that she only took few puff of a joint here and there, maybe once a year. She's not into cannabis at all. She's a drinker, and she was like, I can handle myself when I'm drunk. It's gonna be okay. Guys, don't worry. I'll be able to get back home. But she had like a 3/4 of an hour to walk to get back home, and it uphill all the time. So I was like, yeah, maybe you can when you're a bit drunk, but
Oh, you can totally do
trust.
it, but you
Yeah,
know you're way more likely to get hurt. You're actually you're
yeah.
actually higher statistically you have a higher statistical chance of getting hurt walking home than actually driving home from the bar. But
Okay,
the
okay.
right
Yeah, I
answer
can see it.
it's like 1 in 1,000 when you're walking home that something will happen to you, and 1 in 4,000 that something will happen to you when you're driving home drunk. But like the correct answer is take a cab because you're always safe then, right?
Yeah, at least you have someone that is
Safe,
sure
yeah,
that you're going at your door. That's one of the things that's really cool for that. But I've told the girl like, okay, I'm telling you, it's not like when you're drinking that you already know how it hit you normally, and sometimes it hits you stronger right away. It's
right,
different. With
yeah.
that, you may feel at one point that you're gonna nearly faint. Pass your hand on your face, like being, wipe your face, and We're like always, you've passed the giggle time. Now you realize that that shit is real stuff, and it gonna hit you strong. You've got the point where it hit you. I don't know how many milligrams she took, because that's my girlfriend that give it to her. But what I use it to take is like if I remember 9 pieces on a 8-inch things of brownies. So we're like normally nine pieces if I remember. And my girlfriend was always saying, if you take 2 piece, you're really fucked up. So you better take one, let it start, and being like, I think I can handle more. But let it start a good 2 hours that you already feel it. So we knew that.
I think we've all done this once or
Yeah, so
twice
we
at
knew that
least,
kind
where
of dosage. How you need to be
you've
careful with that one.
literally you've literally
So
yeah,
yeah,
just
when she
comatose
wipe her
yourself,
face, when she wipe her face, I
drool
knew
just
that her leg were no longer something you can trust on. Because my bed is like at 2 meters from that spot where she was sitting. And I've been in that same chair, being like, oh, okay, girl, I think I'm gonna go to bed and I have to take the door and like hold on the side door. Rocking shit. I was able to walk, yeah, but my I wasn't really straight, you know. I wasn't sure if the I wasn't sure of anything. In fact, all I knew is that my bed was there and that's where I was going. So that's the only thing I was really sure is that I think I'm gonna open the radio and do nothing else but let my mind drift and fall asleep, and I will get awake in an hour or two, but that is too hard. Like when it hits you really strongly. And when that girl had the same reaction, so funny. We could have said like, okay, you start to feel it. In 15 minutes, you're gonna wipe your face, or in an hour. I think it's an hour later. Everyone was wiping their face, everyone, and you will really feel like you're gonna faint. I was like, that's the sign where you took a bit too much edible. You're you're good for a ride now. Yeah, I mean, but one of the best example of being crazy with the edible is Joey Diaz. I really love when Joe Rogan explained that he was on a plane with Diaz, and he's like, "Holy shit! Think I just had a panic attack." And he's dropping two more of those two Black Star edible. I think it's like 250 milligram each. So he took something like five, six of them in the evening. Like, yeah, I don't know a lot of people that want to go there. I know a guy on Discord that do that sometime. That he do crazy dosage. The other day, Green Goddess was taking like 400 milligram. She felt sleepy, but nothing too much. Like, fuck, man, 300 milligram.
it's
I
pretty.
will start to do the dancing bees in my living room, man. I'm telling you, I will be a bit of a trip. Not too much, but I will be really high.
Pretty
And I
good.
may have a bit of that panic attack with that 300 milligram. How much you need to take to have that
A
trigger
panic
warning?
attack? Oh, I don't know if I don't know if I'll panic. I don't know if I'll panic out. Maybe on some fucking like some African weed sativa that I'm smoking, but mm, not from. I don't really panic on eating. I do. I have got to where you're like, damn, I'm almost too high, but then I'm just like, oh man, just enjoy it. Usually, it. I think this is. I
Sometimes I
think
have that kind of when you start to feel, let's say you've not took any edible and you start to feel sick, but your first sign is that you're not really able to sleep and you're really kind of negative thought. and at least it happened to me that I know I'm gonna be sick when it start to be like that, or I'm close to be sick. Like everything in my mind, it's bad. I got a
Me, it's
bad feeling. Everything is like my my body just prepare myself, I guess, to be sick.
when I eat, I don't I don't have the bad times then. The bad times are later. Like I always have a great time when I'm high on it. It sometimes the next day I'll wake up and feel like groggy, just
Yeah,
not quite there, and just a little bit out of it, and that's more what bothers me than anything else. And I tend to be grumpy on that day for sure.
yeah, that's exactly why I've stopped taking it. Like
Because yeah,
every time I
sometimes
was thinking that it was necessary, because it's the kind of hangover effect. Yeah,
yeah,
but
it does give weed a hangover effect. That's kind of the reason I take huge breaks in eating it. Then I'll go back to eating way too much of it. Then I'll take a break again. And
so that's quite funny because I think they should start to sell Tylenol as a recreation drug. Don't you think it could be a good idea? Because when you're having a headache or something like that, and you take a Tylenol, you can go back to your recreation activity, no?
so,
Like, yeah. I don't know, man. So sometimes I'm like, you know what? I was smoking a joint the day after that I was really hungover, like in the afternoon. I'm like, oh, I gotta smoke a joint and get that headache and take a nap, whatever, eat some popcorn, watching a movie. That's like this afternoon. I'm not out. I've been too drunk yesterday, whatever. So I was also taking a Tylenol otherwise. So
yeah, yeah. Huh.
is one is more recreational than the other. I'm not sure because the Tylenol made me feel better too. So I don't. It just silly thought, but I find it quite strange to describe what is really a drug, in fact, as a recreation or non-recreation medicinal. Let's say they've legalized medicinal cannabis before, and sometimes it feel like they wanted to legalize heroin before.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I don't, yeah, I don't know, man. I know that the junkie have a hard time, but when I'm seeing people on meth, I'm missing people on crack. They were not as bad.
True, true.
Honestly, man. Have you
Yeah,
ever seen a guy with a freaking fridge or a freezer on his elbow, like whatever, just holding it like that on his bicycle, or another guy with a fucking cuff?
you're right. Holy crack.
Yeah, they were on crack,
Meth, they
those
don't
guys.
have the strength for that. You're right. You're
I, I
100% right.
I don't know if meth they've already sold their teeth and they're too weak or what. I don't know, man. But it eat them. Everyone that I see that takes speed, you have like all the cheek that curve, like they got no more muscle in the face. It just get into, and a lot of people that I've seen, like they were trying to hide that they were doing that a lot. After a decade of using those things, man, it's so crazy. The older they get, the worse it be, and they look worse on people on coke. I've told about Joey Diaz. Look at that guy. He was freaking puffier than a puffy fish, man, when he was on coke.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's more in shape now than he's ever been, and he's way older. But he's doing that jujitsu stuff, man. Holy shit. I don't know how he can do jujitsu the day after doing that much edible, because the cardio, holy crap, man, I would faint on the mat. You start to do, you're really still hangover of the edible, man. My heart will pound in my head, man. Crazy. I don't know. I guess I need to do a bit more cardio because that No, I would not be able to do jujitsu after a night of edible. That's just too much for me, man. But one thing I've tried to do back then was some circus stuff when we were really high on edible. And it's funny because I wasn't feeling the gravity. It may be weird like that. Okay, I will
Huh.
rephrase it. I was able to have my body in every kind of strange positioning and hold my hand like on my hand or whatever and not feel that I was using straight or whatever. It was like everything was super easy to do. But
Huh.
beside that, yeah, I was holding like that. But I was just looking completely lost. But everyone was making fun of me and my friend having took too much cookies before doing that. So they've just been sure that we're doing nothing that we could ensure ourselves too heavily. But we tried to do some pass, and yeah, we were really looking like some clown. That was sure of it. Like real clown, not those on the stage. I think it was more funny for everyone. Like we're having fun, but people that told me about it afterward, they were like saying that they had, I think, as much fun that we had been like that. I mean, they were just laughing at us and making us do some tricks that doesn't make sense for no reason, and we're trying to do it, but failing in a really funny way. And I think that was their only goal to watch us fail doing stuff. But we're doing like okay for what we do normally. But everything that's like we struggle a bit when we're sober, that was the most funny. Like when you watch a black clown that's supposed to do like the guy that do everything perfect, but he kind of fake that he's fuck it up. But no, we're like not faking that we fuck it up. We're just really good to make it look like it's still funny. But it's surely not planned. Like you can see it. Yeah, we did it a couple of times, but we're pretty young. I think that if I would try to do it now, I would not be as funny. Because it's always the first few times you do those things that you're the most funny. Uh, you cannot rely on it. You do that a couple times, it's funny, and then you need to rely on your sober self. You're gonna be way more funny to plan
Yeah.
ahead how you do your thing and practice that. Practice what work. But no, I always enjoy that kind of natural funny things when someone is really high on mushroom or some edible of cannabis. That's the most funny thing I've seen, man. I was looking at one point. I passed in the park. There's a big tam jam in Montreal every Sunday in the summer, and I go there and I was just looking at who's there, kind of people, whatever. And I've passed beside a gang that was quite obvious. Everyone was really high on mushroom, and only a few ones that were looking like they were doing something coherent were playing the tam tam. But when I was listening at their beat, they were offbeat from everyone else around. It was making sense for what they were doing, but they were offbeat from everyone else. So I was like, I guess that's the mushroom gang. You made them. They
Nice.
know about it. Yeah. Well,
You know,
sorry.
oh no worries. You know what I did this week?
No.
I made a treasure map. Made a treasure map for when I was down in Antigua last time. I had a bunch of hash left over, and usually I just give it to one of my buddies or whatever. But I didn't
So
see
will you
any.
send it to your buddy that
Well,
you're from over there?
well, I already have. Already did. Already did. Map's already been delivered.
Is
So
it a bottle? Have you sent a bottle by
it
pigeon
was
or
unfortunately
Canadian
no.
Goose?
I sent it text. I sent it text message actually here.
Are you really bad, man? As text messages? It's,
Oh, I
what kind
just
of
text
pirate
message.
are you?
That's the best kind of fire.
Was it on the dark web?
No, 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 straight out in the open. That's how they'll never catch it.
I try it, man. I try it.
So, so anyways, what happened when I was leaving? I had I don't know 3 4 grams of hash to fucking, and I was like, well, I'm not bringing it back with me. So I went and got a bottle, and I took it and I buried it out in my parents' garden bed, and my I have two of my nephews were there. They're adults now. They're adults. Um, but they're like, oh, um, we heard from our other uncle that you left some stuff here. Is that true? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, you think you can help us out? And I'm just like, all right, all right. So I drew up a little treasure map and sent it to them.
Have you made them have a couple of false turn or stuff like that to make it a bit harder?
Tried to make
That
it as
they need to
simple as
process
possible.
like
I
you're gonna get tricks for trick quarter of what you do, and if you got
the,
everything right, the last quarter of the instruction or what you really want to know, and maybe a part of the first one and the last one, kind of really you need to.
you didn't hold the paper up to the sun immediately. You would have seen right then.
You need to hold it again for, yeah, and not too long, the right angle.
Hold it up to the sun, and it would have told you you were already there. Damn it.
Yeah, yeah, you make them like do everything, but you need to start there. Yeah, I like when you make them work like that. But there was a pirate game that sometime you were discovering. I think it's kind of Pirate of the Caribbean kind of thing, or the
Hell yeah.
uh, I don't remember exactly, but that was a pirate game. It's I think it's still online for free, but it's just not as recent stuff, whatever. But sometime you were on the sea and having an island, and you were able to have that kind of treasure map that you really need to do a complex path, because if you messed out the first choice, you may not be able to continue and have it. I think you had 3 try or something like that. And I remember trying to do that kind of thing, but I was like drinking or being really sleepy and playing that boat stuff because most of the time I was just letting it go in a direction and drinking, talking with my friend, whatever, and being like, "Oh, oh, there's a ship here, or there's something," just watching it on the corner. So uh, when that kind of thing was happening, most of the time I wasn't feeling I was having all my presence on it. I wasn't all focused on that. So sometimes I was like, yeah, I guess there's a pattern that I need to learn, and some of the variable in that pattern will change. And wait, dude, I, I may be drunk or I've smoked a bit, whatever. So
I'm way
it's
too
maybe
high.
not, to learn process, maybe not the best one. So I was, okay, I'm still able to analyze some stuff about how I could do it. But at one point, what was really funny is to just let my mind drift, not try to think, just try. And I started to believe that I had nearly better result like that than being drunk and trying to think. If I'm drunk, I'm just doing it. Sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes not at all. I just know it's gonna be random. But if I'm just sleepy and letting my brain do it automatically, I was sometimes having better result than just trying to process it. It's like if there's something between how your brain reacts automatically, process some stuff, and how you just fuck it up trying to think too much. Your brain already processed the answer. You just don't know yet it's gonna be that. That's how I've solved a lot of those things. I was like, holy crap, man. At one point, your brain know to recognize pattern. That's
Yeah,
why, so there's nothing magic in it. So we're a bit better than AI, I think. But those people that make that kind of game, holy crap! I would have loved that they make one of those for your treasure hunt. So you did you had only one treasure, you said?
only one. Well, in there. There's hash, and then there's probably about 100 seeds in there too. Uh,
That's
stuff
the
that I
part that they need to work more. Okay,
well,
if
and very much one of them probably will. One of them probably will. The other one I doubt. One of them will.
so, what kind of thing there was over there when you were there?
Uh, well, what the seeds that are left there are some of them are Island Sweet Skunk crossed with Big Sur Holy. Another one is Candyland crossed with Big Sur Holy, and then the last one was here,
Well, let's go with Candyland. Who made it?
Candylands is an ethos, but anyone could
With
have made
Itof?
it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of those. I'll bring it up.
I just remember a couple name on Snow Island, Candyland. I'm like, I don't know if it's just because it's a common name
It's
that I heard it.
what it is uh lemon berry candy OG crossed with ethos cookie. So it's like basically something that anybody could have made. Any I mean just cookies crossed. But it's orange and it's lemon and it's candy. And I'm like honestly I'm smoking some right now and my assistant was like, damn bro, he's like, how do you make that smell like that? Like that's amazing. He's like, that's phenomenal. But it's
So it tastes
yeah,
good, but did
but
it hit you
it's
good?
real. It's good. Yeah, I really enjoyed it actually. Honestly, I got nothing bad to say about it other than I wish it stacked a little bigger, but it is it's good smoke and it actually gets the job done.
There's someone that told me the other day that some metal stuff that he had tried it was really beautiful plant, but the plant was not always like the biggest yield or stuff like that. The smoke was good, but they said the strain that they had tried, the bud was kind of falling apart. I
It's
don't
you know
know.
what I well you know what I
But
don't
that's
understand.
what I remember that
The
they thought about it.
ethos I find um okay like some plants like they just look the same no matter what, right? Like you get some plants that just look the same, but ethos are really weird for like you get one and you get this absolutely gorgeous plant the first time, but then as soon as you clone it, it changes and it changes, and there's nothing wrong with the plant. It's still just as good as it was. If not, it actually probably matures and gets better. But
I've seen it with some variety that do that more than others, and I've never been able to pinpoint that on anything else.
and yeah,
Do you think there's something?
I don't know how he gets it to do that, but it just seems like his stuff does it for some reason. But like, I wonder if it's because they don't have a mycorrhizal association with their plants. They're all grown in hydro. So I wonder if it's something like that. It's just when the epigenetic expression becomes very different when it's in a soil medium
Well,
interacting
I'll
with
tell that
microbes.
up north we don't have the same expression of the plant that they have in the where they breed it, let's say in California, of some variety. outdoor, let's say, how they would look like. But if I grow them indoor, we both have similar result. It will look like it's supposed to look indoor because indoor it's indoor. It may be a tiny bit different, but there is kind of a variable of difference that we know it will be predictable for that kind of thing. How you grow it, that a bush or a sea of green or whatever. You know what I mean? So you know that if you flip it more early from a clone, you may have a different expression that if you veg it into a bigger plant, even indoor. If you top it or you don't top it, it may be different. If you, those things may influence some variety more than others also. So
And
my big
I'm
question with it is, if I'm growing
I'm
let's say an example
to-
I had, we had a plant with, we knew how it looked like on each of the variety. They do a feminized cross in California in greenhouse. We see what the parent look like in the greenhouse. Their seeds grow here indoor. And at one point, they were getting tired of that strain, not because it was bad, but sometimes it like it was kind of harming. If you let it go too late, balls were popping everywhere. So the they give away the clone. So I've seen how they
Rockstar
look
Kush
like
did that.
outdoor, and outdoor there was another type of expression, and we're able to see some of the parent of the Thai side having a bit more expression on the structure of the plant, but the flower itself was having where the indica part, let's say you were recognizing it more the Afghani or the Kush kind of in it. And there wasn't a lot of production outdoor, it was mostly the tip of each of the branch or the plant itself, but it wasn't like a charged plant everywhere. The picture I've seen on it. But what I found weird is like there was smaller plant and bigger plant there, and they were all having a kind of similar way to express, and it was looking way different than what you could have seen indoor, because that plant indoor was a big producer. Outdoor, it was like, oh, I got that Thai hybrid, kind of thing. That's not the best producer. That's your candy star, RBX, so reversal backcross,
Like that. Not bad. Pretty good.
lemon
Like it.
berry candy.
It's not bad.
So the
It's,
Ethos cookies, let's see, get the Tin Mint cookies.
I have
What
no
kind of
idea.
thing he call Ethos cookies?
I
Because they always have
it's
like,
it's
I'm really happy. That's my version of this. It
oh it's
give plant that always look like that or whatever, and they cross everything.
I think it's forum cookies. I'm gonna go on a limb here. I'm gonna take a guess. It's forum cookies
I don't want to shit on
time.
Ethos. I've never tried anything of him, and I've only smoked a couple times. It was tasty, looking pretty. I don't know their story that much anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. There's some bad there's some bad stories about him online, but
All I
there's
know
bad ones.
is Loving in Our High, something like that,
Yeah,
was with a, a Cullen of Ethos, if I remember. And
yeah,
now
yeah,
she's doing her own stuff. And I've seen what she sent to someone as sample, like just on a live of Instagram. And her stuff look all really beautiful.
yeah,
But when I came to look at the cross, um, when I'm making fun of funny name cross with funny name, give you whatever
yeah,
funny.
yeah, 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 yeah,
That's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I'm really
Same
a
game.
bit lost, but I know the type of strain at one point. Okay, maybe this or that I don't know much about those strains. So I'm just looking at, she's really good grower. She have taste on what the look, at least of the bud, the taste, the people that smoke it said it's good, but I'm like, there are so many things that can be good. If you're not searching for a specific thing, you may enjoy a lot of things. It's like there's a lot of good products now.
There's a lot. All right, Ethos Cookies puts the talents of the breeder of Ethos Genetics on full display. Ethos Cookies is a sativa dominant hybrid weed strain bursting with pepper, berry, grapefruit, and gassy. Terps thanks to Mandarin Cookies and Colin OG parent number one. Um, the current version is Ethos Cookie R2, a cross of Cookies Phenome 1 and 16. It is also definition of the bag appeal with bizarre icy trichomes on dense chunky buds in a range of colors from lime green to deep purple. The dominant terpene in Ethos cookies is caryophyllene. Uh, Ethos cookies have an average THC of 22% with 1% CBG, while uh, while many Ethos cookies OG strains can settle in high body and hit as well. Uh, Ready to seize the day after mouth-watering, tangy zip, zesty terp. Most commonly reported facts of Ethos cookies include energy and focus, bright outlook. I don't know. It's fucking whoever they got writing their shit is fucking fabulous. I'll say that about them. But
Yeah, okay, but you know what I really hate when I look at that kind of thing? It looked too good and too fabulous and too dreamy for my brain to keep on information. You're trying to make me stoned before I've smoked it. So I quite enjoy, but at the same time, I think they are adding a bit too much body on the toast. It could be really nice to do it, but I think they could have like a section that's just more informative and having that kind of text separate from it. I don't know if they do that,
yeah,
but that's something I like when it's done. But yeah,
I mean
it's look
she's nice looking weed. I mean it's good looking stuff. I mean can't knock it.
floral gas, so it's like farting in the flower.
It's like farting into a packet of nerds. I mean, is that the is that the next
You
strain?
got
We
some
need to.
small. Have you ever tried to wipe up some nerds off your bum?
Uh, is it so? Are we just looking for the next candy that we need to name a strain after? Is that what we? Is it because we've had Skittles, cookies, we've had
Well, y- okay. You told me that my name,
Gushers.
my naming is really bad. I know. I got one right there. I know. Um, but I still think that potato peeler kush could be a candidate. Well, I could change idea, but that one,
Potato peel kush. Guaranteed nobody will know you're growing weed.
uh, well, yeah, it was late one night. I was really high watching the water segment use. That's the only thing that came to my mind. Potato kilo kush. No, peeler, sorry. Not a killer. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's because everything is a killer or something. So I'm like, no, no, we need to be more pacific in our thing. But peeling potato, I mean, that's pretty pacifist for me. So,
Well, the reason it never took off because you didn't call it the potato peeler one.
oh, it need to be one. Yeah,
Yeah, it needs to be the one.
but there's the one. There's
Yeah, no,
the
but the peeler one.
but the second one, it's Masonic is really fabulous for having a number
The
two.
deuce.
Well, yeah, it's a central bob of cannabis. That's my Masonic. Sorry, man. I'm just thinking at Sancho Bob at one night I've seen Masonic, and since then I cannot remove it from my mind. And the funniest shit I've seen, I don't know if someone have took it down, but there's a short on YouTube that people made a song about Masonic talking about his banana. Have you seen that?
Hold on. I have
I think I've sent
I
it to
hold
you,
on.
right?
I
I'm
believe
not
you did.
sure, man.
I
Maybe
think you
I've
did a
not.
long time ago. Hold on.
Yeah, I think it's Kanatai that sent it, and I know Kanatai have shared it. That's the only thing I remember
Probably
of
if you
it.
just friggin' search, we search.
I tried to look on my DM the other day, and it was saying that it got taken down or
Ah,
something like that.
probably.
And the person were like, "Oh, I cannot have Masonic having like people having fun of that song with Masonic forever." But I'm like, but I don't care that we make fun of Masonic. That shit is super funny. Like even him could make it like could have fun looking. I don't know, but if it would have been me, it was looking like he was like a kind of Gollum. It's mine.
No, I don't. I don't see it. It must be gone. Hold on.
Where's Kanatai so he can help us to find it back? Who have shared it first? I don't remember. Holy crap. But if you search banana and Masonic, my banana, I'm not sure you're gonna find what you want, but we never know, man. But there's a section on Tino server on Discord that they have those songs that make fun of one guy or the other. There's one on Tino, there's one on Copycat, there's one on Masonic, there's one on Belief. I think there's two on Belief that we've passed one at one point here. Uh, man, I don't remember what's the name of that guy. I will open the Discord for
No,
that,
I
but
can't. I can't seem to find the Masonic.
I don't know if they still have it on the Tino Discord. But damn, man, the guy that do all those song about the
What's
people like that, he's really good. Like they are not all the best song, whatever. There's some that are better than other, but he's really good at doing it. So I think I would maybe take it as a kind of honor that someone make fun of you like that.
so? So Ethos just sent me a email there the other day saying they're sending me a package of seeds. So I wonder if my Ethos package of seeds will get here before my other package of seeds. I'm thinking my Ethos might get
Y-
first.
you know, I told you the other day that I was about to order something for him. I was like, oh, and that's the last time I talked with him. I was like, oh man, I wanted to order something for you, but when I went to press buy, it was sold out. Like within, like I was talking with him and being like, oh, do you want it, whatever, whatever, and I'm like, oh, I will send you that, and I'm about to press buy, and it says sold out. Like, what? Dude, I was talking with him and it wasn't sold out. Like, oh shit, we've talked like an hour or two. Oh man. Oh man. But what I've not realized is those 2 hours were exactly the time that it took to be sold out. So I was like, man, when everyone wants to jump on the same thing and you don't know you got 2 hours to make your decision with your girlfriend or your friend or whatever who hold your budget string.
I hear you.
But yeah, I'll go on Tenor server. I know that he got a couple. How they call it? Need to remember what's the kind of thing. I've seen it on different people on Discord that share those. Holy crap! Holy crap! Okay, now I
So
just seen another guy, but I cannot show it here.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, what happened?
Because there's a guy on Discord is named Edna. Um, or green bean sometime. But he's kind of a trip, man. You would have to pass time to listen to that guy and being like, whoa, okay, I get it. He's something. I don't know how to explain it. I don't want to make fun. of anyone publicly, but he's kind of a trip. Um,
Huh.
yeah, I don't know. He's a kind of character in himself, so that's why. Uh, kind of guy that at one point this guy say, "I'm gonna germ." I think it was like a selection of 1,000 plants that he wanted to do, and he had space for. I don't know. I think he had like maybe a 10 by 20 room and meter, 10 meter by 20, something like that. Like a good sized room, but I was, yeah, I don't know how you're gonna do your things or how you gonna make some different panel, whatever, to hold some clone on the side, whatever. Well, I was just finding it quite interesting to look at. Um, well, some people have even given seeds. But what the guy did not know is that those people were not really caring for the seeds they were giving to him. They just wanted to see how bad it gonna be. Like, what gonna be the fail in that crop? Because they were like, there's no way that guy will do a complete crop. Because the first few times we've seen stuff of him. He was like trying to brag some kind of theory about things. But one of the most funny stuff I will talk publicly because man, that guy I've repeated few times and on different show, and I think you've already passed on YouTube with that. Anyway, it's he was having some. uh, I think it was like some spider mite or uh, some mite like to attack other type of mite, whatever. And to stimulate the reproduction, it gave them some tryptamine. And he was thinking at the horizontal gene transfer. I could know of who I'm talking about. The horizontal gene transfer guy. And I'm
Well,
sorry,
don't
but
forget there was those electric eels in the Amazon that could fucking that cause the electric gene that cause the gene transfer between species.
yeah. But you know that there's that kind of thing that you rather not listen to any of those documentary when you smoke a bit too much weed and try you're gonna solve every problem in the world. Uh, yeah, be careful when you those things. It may be higher than your pay grade, and it like you some information to really process the rest. It is a kind of a mad sciences that if he's doing a Frankenstein, it won't be the Einstein part. And I'm not sure Frank if he'll be around, but we'll get a movie. So whatever happens, you're gonna get fun. So that the guy is kind of that's why I'm saying it's a trip to listen at because there's always something that can happen. You don't know it yet, but probably gonna be a fail on some point. And I think that's the most funny shit to have. Like the guy is really confident and have some theory sometimes that like is it true? What he's talking about? Hey, that's principle. He's talking about the real principle, but there's some stuff that like doesn't take into account to continue his theory. Oh, wait a minute. Why I'm starting to think like it would really matter? And I'm like, oh, okay, man, I'm there like having 3 page open on the on Google trying to
You
wait a minute, what I'm doing there? Like that guy is no, strange idea, you know. So that's the kind of guy that yeah, it's quite funny for that. But anyway, I try to find the section where they have all those funny songs. Uh, holy crap, man! They got so many things. Is it beat down? No, beat down is one. How you call those things? Um, oh, cannot distract. So yeah, cannot this. They got one on him. You know, even you can make fun of yourself. No, wait, there is one on Tino. Think we've seen the one for I believe that he's sleeping with his eye open. Uh,
Whoa, whoa.
I open. Oh man. Okay, I see one on Instagram. The last one. What's that? I'll try to look at it before so it still can be. Oh shit. Okay, I'm not sure for that one, but dude, it's called Canna This on Instagram. Canna underscore this. And oh no, I found it. I found the banana, man. I found the banana.
Nice.
Well,
You gotta
Is it,
figure out how to. We gotta figure
well,
out how to get your
cannot I
sound
have
on.
comment on it? And I guess it's the one. I guess it's the one. Oh shit! How I do that? Um, share screen. Okay, no, I
No,
need
you gotta
to.
turn your sound. Um,
Where I turn the
somewhere,
sound on?
somewhere in
On
the audio settings there. Go audio settings and go.
video there. No, it's not that. Okay, wait a minute.
Go down. Oh no, you want to? Yeah, you want to go down to the bottom. See where it says live performance recommended. I think that's or no original sound for music and studio. Pretty sure it's one of those ones. Yeah.
Um,
Just
wait a
send me the
minute.
link. Just send me the link in
Yeah,
chat.
yeah, I'll send you the link, man. I'm fucking
I
just
I
trying to learn it.
I think I
Copy.
got.
Give me a second. I'll go back on my window. Stop sharing. Stop.
See, when I this is what I had turned on last time to play videos, and everyone got mad about my voice over the mic. Remember? Everyone was like, yeah, even you. You're like, what was wrong with the mic, right? All right, here we go. It worked. Really not. Wait a minute. Okay, can you hear that?
I don't.
Yeah, I need to turn it up.
You need to share it. You're not
I
sharing
can
it
hear it.
right now.
All right, all right. Ah,
We kind of figured out that at least that's one. That's not one of those nights where you're like, "Oh, we're gonna be drunk tonight."
can you hear it?
No.
Okay, hold on. I gotta stop.
But
Hold
just
on.
his
My
face with that
sound.
filter is so funny, man. One, two, three.
Goddamn audio.
But you're having mute on the Instagram itself. Look at
Yeah,
the
I
window
had
of
them.
Instagram.
Well, because I can hear it here live, but I can
Oh,
hear it, but I can totally hear it, but you can't hear it.
yeah, I know there's one of the option that you can do that, and then you're having the sound itself that you can transfer on another.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay.
guys, go watch Kana underscore this on Instagram. It's the most funny diss track that I've seen. That banana one, I mean, I was just folding too, man, laughing about that shit. It's so, I don't know, it's well made. It sounds good. And it's, to me, it just sounds like Gollum is talking about this banana instead of the golden ring, you know? It's the Gollum syndrome, you know that?
Can you hear it? No. Hmm. Damn it.
Uh, Agnes because I thought my plate was overfull. Masanikis. Beep. How would I know number of Fino in a packet had gotten ridiculous? Let's see some plant. Okay, so his favorite plant this year is a male of CW crossed with LPK. Four times the figure as the other 50 that got got lime. What's
Huh.
the CWLPK? It sounds like lemon percush for LPK, or I don't know. I just make up name because CW. What could be cow? I got no idea of what kind of cross it is because people just give letter and number on their reading note, but to know what it really is, you need the other uh, bottom of the page with the asterisk saying that LPK is this or that. So I know that there's a couple guy like that do those really funny song about anyone that is making a bit of noise in that type of industry at least. So I think it's really something good because, well, I think we can talk about the squirrel syndrome. When you're a grower and you want to grow some tree and you end up growing some nuts in your mouth. And you just think that you got bigger balls because you've learned it to grow. And I've seen it being solved by watching girls growing as good or better than you. So you don't have that much ball anymore. And it's for most of those people, they've not had to hide from the cops or whatever when it was illegal, and they may grow a bit more than they are supposed to, some of them, but it doesn't make you having bigger balls just by growing. You you need to do something
I
else.
think I think it did when it was illegal and you'd go.
A bit better. Yeah, at least it was kind of understandable that you're acting that way. Now it's a think a bit. I don't know,
Yeah.
man. I've just seen so many women having it way better than I could have grown, or as good or better, man. Honestly, um, no, I cannot even compare myself on that type of level. So I don't think it take balls. It take
Okay.
balls to do it when it was illegal. You to say, well, balls. I don't know if we can talk like that. It's I wasn't seeing as many women leading that kind of thing back then, but now I see a lot of women being in position that they can lead the crew or how it's presented or things like that. So I think they just did not wanted to play with some part of the risk, but they were still involved, some of them. There've- There's always been a lack of representation of women, I was thinking at, but then I've realized that at one point, dude, they just hang together. That's just why you don't know about it. You have a gang of women that you never would guess that they smoke weed, and one of them is a freaking head grower that it's the best grower in town, man. You don't even know about it. She just don't sell it. She share it with her friend. That's it. So I found it quite interesting. I would like to get more women to join us and tell about their side of it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I don't think it's either. I think it's the grower's shadow. I don't think it makes a difference which sex it is. I mean, I do say plants do well with my wife, but like I don't know. I think it just depends how much care you're putting in.
Yep.
What you get in is what you get out with it. But
Yeah, and just one of the thing that I've at least I've noticed when I have partnered with some girl on job like that, it's they were a bit more structured in the way they were doing their things. So as soon that they knew, like, let's say, oh, that kind of thing is the priority, but how we will install it in the schedule, or I don't know, like they were doing stuff that was like, holy crap, man, it goes so better now. So
Yeah.
like they were adding a different touch, at least those that I've been with, and were taking care of Veggie's greenhouse, and I was like, holy crap, man, they just have a different way to do things, and I think both go well together. I've just noticed there are some that will say, "Oh, it's girly." I say that really often. Oh, that kind of thing is girly weed. Doesn't mean it's for girl only, but we're making that as a it's a kind of soft smoke, a bit more happy joy. It's not necessarily a big knockout strain. Uh,
Yeah.
it's more kind of uh, sometimes candy or more floral or fruity. But it doesn't mean it's just for girl at all. I've known a lot of men liking that kind of thing too, so it doesn't have any sense for that. It's just kind of a nickname we've applied to that. But yeah, I was saying like, oh, it's girly weed when I was talking about cookies sometime, because it looked really nice.
Really looks really
Yeah,
good. Takes really good pictures. It was
yeah, yeah. The picture are
Form
really nice.
cookies.
It's funny.
Form cookies was one of the prettiest plants of all time. I don't know, but
Yeah, and I like when you have like that kind of dark leaf, dark purple leaf, and that kind of nugget structure. Yeah, it's impressive. But when I've seen some grow with that beside another grow with let's see another type of strain. uh, Well, I don't know if it's better, but it's surely look good. But at one point I seen a guy saying like, dude, I don't know if you like to have bigger strain, like bigger yielding strain, but he say I don't want to pass time on trimming weed. And that cookie was quite good for that. So it's funny because what I really enjoy to smoke, it's not necessarily stuff that people that will trim it will enjoy to trim it. So that's one of the thing, or it's too long flowering and nobody want to grow it. Like that freaking Kelly mist that some people are saying, oh, it changed it, whatever. Man,
all right.
when I first heard of it, I remember everyone was like, it looked really good. I would like to smoke it. But when they say 70 to 100 days of flowering, and they were looking at the yield and being like, I'm not sure it
What are you
really
saying? You don't want
yields
to spend the
more.
rest of your life on this one strain? I think I got the video figured. We can go to that clip if you want. Here,
Oh, let's go.
I got it. All right. Share and wait. Can you hear that?
No,
You can't hear it? Fuck.
no, must be something here.
Hmm.
I remember seeing that option the other advanced sharing option. Who?
Damn it. Well,
No,
end
it's not in
story. I
that.
thought I fucking figured out how to do it.
Well, at least we got people that can go look at what it looked like. Well,
Damn it.
yeah, I guess Pretty doesn't sell where I live. You know what? One of the thing I've heard the other day about what people a bit older than me were, buying weed, let's say. They were opening the bag and taking a big whiff of it
Yeah.
and judging the texture of the flower. Is it sticky? It could be loose and not dense at all. It wasn't the necessarily the things that they were judging at
Well,
first.
a lot of the old sativa was just like flat and pressed, and there were so many seeds in it though too, right? So it's hard to say how the flowers would have really expressed, given the it, being that they weren't pollinated, right? They may have gotten a lot bigger, but
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
for those that were like buying undressed weed like that and seed, I mean, just as a flower, seedless flower, a lot of the people had uh, not that concept back then of a dense nug with small calyx densely packed, right?
sure.
And some of the strain were small nugget, a bit like that gelato stuff that I've seen. I was looking at a picture the other day and being, oh, it's gelato? Oh, okay. Get that big swollen calyx, but the bud were not necessarily big itself, but got a small chunk of big calyx that was looking kind of good at this, but they are not huge flower, at least those that I've seen on that picture. And I was thinking at some strain back then that were really dense, small nugget, really strangely formed, not necessarily that roundish things. You had those, and they were having bigger calyx like that. You had those that were more, I would say, like a cylinder and really small calyx, all densely packed like that M39, and not always super good. I wasn't a big fan of those really small calyx, super densely packed like that. Most of the time, it wasn't the smoke I was enjoying the most. Don't say they were all bad. It was just not on my top shelf, I would say. And at one point, I remember asking a couple of guys like that just randomly, "What kind of weed you're after?" And they were not really into strain. They were saying dense. They like when it's dense nug. Was like, well, a lot of strain will have some bud that are quite dense in it, but not all the plant will do that dense. You know, all the top branch may do more denser flowers, but now people start to get rid of all the rest of the flower, like doing extract and ash and stuff like that. But back then, everyone was trying to sell most of the flower of the plant. So there is already that difference there that you have a lot of less good looking. Oh, you got it. You got the song.
Then I'll Google and see if I can still eat moldy bread. I think I've outdone myself. If I could sell this with my seeds, they would fly off of the shelves. It's the same idea as the strains I make. I don't know what's in them, but I think it'll get you baked. I'll pretend I do, just to sell it to you. 3 months later, you realize that you got screwed. I'm dead period, dude. I'm sorry, but I gotta admit, I took your money and bought me an Adderall script. No refunds, but maybe I could give you a shirt. Here, take this one. No, wait, this one's covered in dirt. Here, this one. No, this one's got a weird fucking stain. Did I shit on this the other night when I was in pain? That's not shit, that's Aunt Jemima. Take this one, super quality from China. I charge like 40 times more than what they're worth. So if I owe $100, that's like half of a shirt. Now we're even, now get the fuck up out of my house. I need to go and surf my carpet and look under my couch. I need to go on Instagram and update my profiles. Oh shit, I'm going live. How's my smile? Hey Sonic, you know your strings are garbage. You should've went to college. You're fucking up the style. Hey Sonic, you know that you don't want it. You work with law enforcement. Don't make me tell them how. Banana, fana, fofana, me, my momenta. Banana, goddamn it, I think I fucked up the whole gamut. I hope they don't expose my whole gambit. My anxiety is making me take about 44 Xanax. That's why you see me passing out in my pool on that unicorn floaty that I thought was so cool. Drooling all over myself like a slobbery fool. And a turd floating next to me when I came to. Ugh, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, king. I talk to the feds so they don't think I'm money laundering. I'm serious. From my store across the street from the barber thing. I'll just say I sell a lot of things. Yo, my fucking hair looks like Sideshow Bob. I'm about as interesting as corn on the cob. And I took all the credit for Banana God. And 9/11 was probably an inside job. Yo, I go to work but I'm meandering. I'm dead serious. And when I get on Instagram it's obvious I'm pandering.
Oh.
Check out my podcast where I'm chattering and jabbering about what matters to me. It's so boring and unflattering. It's 3 p.m. and I'm done looking for shards. I gotta go open my store, so I go to my car and open the door. Out fall a bunch of Pokemon cards. I pick it back up and notice a half-eaten Pop-Tart. It's crusty and hard, but I am gonna eat it regardless. Gotta go far and I don't wanna die of being starved. Turn the key in the ignition, but it doesn't even start. And all the lights are missing, cause I guess I took them apart. Damn, well I gotta go send these seeds. I put them all in the packs randomly. I probably got a couple of pubes up into the mix. Sorry about that, not, I don't give a shit. Hey son,
Try to find the banana one. I don't know if you got the banana one. It's not that one, sadly, but I will try to find it otherwise. Oh man, that artist is it's just crazy, man. I like it.
Yeah, and it did.
Anyway, that was the first one out of Masonic that I've seen on it. I don't want to specify on it on Masonic stuff, but it's just that that one was still good, you know. But the banana one, or maybe it been removed, but come on, man, it was the most funny one. That's my banana, my banana.
And it did. Pretty cool.
Everyone that wants to do that kind of song, go ahead, man. They are all freaking funny. I guess they fuck it up breathing back then, picking up for purple. Well, I would say that some of the strains that were notorious for being purple were not that good, yeah. I don't say purple got a link with it, it just so yeah.
I think I don't know.
What's that thing? Grape ape, I think that they were calling it at one point. There was something really grapey. Um,
Grape Ape.
I
Pretty
remember
local.
smoking it and being like, it tastes good when you have it through other stuff. It's not that bad. But the effect itself was like mm, kind of just a shadow of what you expect of a good effect. There was something really missing in it. Not, I don't know. It wasn't for a heavy duty guy. So I, I remember everything that was kind of lavender was really kind of lethargic, but the grape stuff have never made it for me.
No, flavor wise, it um it's always really amazing smelling, but it doesn't do much for me. I find well,
Yeah,
everything grape I've looked into has kind of been that way, and yeah, it's not really a terp that holds that well either. Like I don't
and
find it
you
ever
feel kind
fun.
of sleepy more than high with it. I don't know
Yeah, I
why.
definitely agree with that.
Is it the CBD more strong in CBD, you think?
I think it's yeah, it could be a little CBD put
But
juice.
there's that purple Pakistani Kush of ace seeds. I did not. Don't remember if I smoked that pure. I remember I've smoked an hybrid of it at one point, but I don't know, man. I really don't know. But the only thing I know about that one is it's maybe 16 percent of THC for the Pakistani purple Pakistani Kush of Ace. So it's maybe not the hardest hitter, but the plant look quite nice, and I know when they cross it, sometimes they have a lot of that purple expression in it. When they made a cross with the Malawi, and they had like more heady Malawi version, and they made kind of the opposite cross and used more kind of some plant of Malawi they found was having some purple trait in it. So when they've crossed that version, they've called it Violeta, and that one is said to have more of a relaxing, bit more slow effect, less heady effect, less up high like the Malawi can be, I guess. So I was finding it interesting that they've did both things, but what they found out with that Violeta is it's quicker to flower than when they do the opposite version. So
Well, I can see that.
some trait are not transferable on the whole set of trait, or I don't know exactly the proper term, but let's say there's a part of that algorithm that doesn't split when it get transferred. It get that packaging. So I think that the for that one, let's say the more early version with that effect go together, and they are more purple for those. Uh, I was finding it interesting to see their advance in it because they've got the Earth Pert that have
Yeah.
been first bred in Switzerland from the Purpurea ticinensis. That's a freaking diction one. Uh, cross with the Herber. Herber. It's like a strawberry that they call it, but that was green. It's the purple ticinensis that have that purple trait, like lock in it, and it's quite a rainbow stuff. It's really pretty plant to look at, but when it been stabilized and all that thing with having that kind of a ash plant quality, let's say an appearance on it, and it look really like a pure ash plant from Afghanistan or something like that. So they've really kind of ruled out more of the tropical sativa looking of the Purpurea ticinensis, but they got some quality of both that was they were not really super high in THC, but if I remember, it's a 2 to 1 in general. Most of the pheno have around 8% of CBD and up to 16% of THC, if I remember. It's not more than that. And the flower are really dense and kind of purple, and the leaf are green, and it looked like a really beautiful plant in the garden. But what I was finding interesting for that is that's the kind of strain that have been selected, let's say, on the resistance up north to cold. It still may have some botrytis because it's a really dense, chunky flower, so it still have to be watched for that. But it's really resistant for any type of extreme weather, and it's more like close to harvest time. They were saying, I think, for the flower that you need to watch, but that's one of those variety that was kept around before anyone knew about CBD, and we knew about the cannatonic that made a big boom with it. But
Yep.
that particular one, the Earthbird, I was like thinking how some of those variety that have been preserved from for different reason. Sometimes there's just a kind of a attachment to that plant. You find it pretty or whatever. That's a strain you've exchanged it with someone, whatever. So I found it interesting that it been preserved, but still w- people did not know all the quality that it was attached to that. Now we can test it and know more about it. And I think one of those good things is when they're still available, those variety. Because everyone's tried to get, let's say, that cookie OG something look with, oh, that time we're gonna add some CBD and CBG.
Well, that's actually one
You know,
of the.
they can stack that, but there's already traditional variety that were kept around. Maybe not the best bomb, I'm telling you, but Earthbird, Earthbird, whatever. At least that one was pretty. It was resistant for them to grow. So I don't know. That was the appeal, at least.
I don't know. I've heard cookies is a good breeder for the simple fact that like it's a good breeder because it doesn't like over dominate, and it allows the other thing you're crossing it to express better, as well as makes it look a little bit prettier. Like it doesn't it's not gonna make it the most potent or lethal shit, but it's gonna make it look better, and it's gonna you're gonna give more room for giving from the other side of the strain to the cookies isn't gonna overwhelm, I don't think. What I've
Yeah,
learned.
Yeah, there's always a good part about some of those variety that they've stacked good trait, right?
Well, we kind of talked about this on last show with like you cross deep chunk with anything and you just get deep chunk. Like that's like it's such a dominant strain that you just that's what you get back.
Yeah,
I
I guess some people may laugh at me when I'm like, oh, that thing looks like this and that and that. I may be wrong on the guess I'm taking, but some of the guests who were taking it back then at one point were like just looking at what available on some magazine, and a lot of them we were kind of right on the composition of the strain, but how we've been picked and which kind of thing. It's just because we know, let's say, two or three variety, and we know the variation there is in them, and when you cross them, how it of it, get cross and express it as a dominance, whatever. But one of the thing I've realized at one point is it's just a bit sad when all the people that have those different type of variety start to all go toward few hot stuff that always is a kind of stacking of everything that was there before, you know, and then it get crossed with the land race. It look really good and may have really good result. Well, what I'm saying is, if everyone is doing that, we just keep adding something else in the mix that we lose that something else that had some trait that we no longer can know what it is because we've diluted with something else and it may not express anymore. Sometimes you have one in a thousand that it seem to express it, but when you rule out like just Violetta, like I was saying, if you line bred that Violetta, you may have less of that really good effect, but all the plant will be the same, and the type of of like the THC level, let's say maybe may not top, you know. Sure, when you always cross something super strong with something super strong, you finish by having more of that super strong that upper in the progeny. Get kind of lucky in at one point. And I've been really happy to see some breeder being like, dude, I'm making seeds with those two things, and all the plants are really good. So, it's there's not a perfect way to do things. It's still gonna be good. So I'm not saying they are wrong. I'm just saying that if you're having really a good landrace and it make a good hybrid with, try to preserve that thing for what it's good, at least the best plant in it, and you make your best by preserving it on the side and being able to remake a cross with that other hot strain of the moment or maybe the same thing. I'm just wishing that people will do a bit more of that re-edition of that same, like I seen a guy at one point. He took an old variety that was used in the 80s. He'd been line bred for a while, and he
yeah,
did an hybrid with like 20 years ago. He made an hybrid with something. He said he never made against that cross, but he still have some seeds of it that he left in his freezer and stuff. And if popped some of those seeds and remade it for the kick of it, and you've been like, oh man, it was really good, but I will never do it again. I give away like everything I got, and because you still have those two strain on the side. So he was saying, I wish some people could maybe line bred that thing, and I would redo another version, and compare the two and see if we don't cross them together again to do an IVL, on that side. So that kind of project could be really interesting, but you need to have some people that preserve their founding strain, be able to re-compare a bit more of it. Let's say you're able to get back the tie that have been used for the one of good. You cross back into the Thai till you get still a chunkier flower than the Thai, but and the early version that still can be cropped in Oregon, but have more of that Thai trait into it, and you can kind of play a bit more on different shade of that. Now it's more accepted to have a plant that look like a sativa as long that it doesn't take 16 week and get 20-meter high. So
Well, that's
there's
the
some
point of
work that
something.
can
That's
be
the
done.
point of something to take 16 weeks to grow one of those stupid big plants like
If
two,
I could buy a
eight, 10
clone,
pounds. Like, but I
let's say
mean,
I have
that's
a
a luck.
small limit and I could buy a clone of a good chosen 15, 16 week of whatever Thai, let's just say Thai or Ace plant. Yes, I will take that. But to do a sifting in it, I need a greenhouse. I need 2, 3 years, and then give it to a couple people so that they tell me if I've not just lose my time with something that's just okay or not that special, whatever. Because sometimes it's not necessarily strong, but it's so different that you really enjoy to have put the
Well,
effort into it.
I have something like that that I'm gonna have to do at some point. I have Panama Red, that was thought to be extinct at one point, but that is but Panama Red, it's 16 weeks on the short, 22 weeks on the long. So you're
Oh,
like
is
talking,
it one of them that you really need to be careful that you slow down the watering and not have too much nitrogen? Like if you really boost,
man. I've never grown
uh,
it. I've never touched
okay,
the seeds. I've just been I got gifted them,
but
and I've never done anything with them,
you know
and
the
because this is
tricks
so
when
long to flower.
you keep your plant in a tiny pot and just trans transplant when the plant is really into making those cotton ball everywhere. Okay, so not too small of a pot, but limiting that pot size, it will limit the height of the plant and the structure, but you may still have a full flowering in it. It will limit it, but you may have still a good branching and good budding on it. It just will be a bit shorter. But one of those other thing is, everyone like to take those clip now. I use it to have some really thick copper wire. But if you have the thicker copper wire you can get, uh, it's good for the plant. Just remove it before it start to really go into it. But when you use a plastic coating around, it can be a bit more gentle, understand. But I use it to do that and put some weight. And I remember that if you had a really tropical thing that want to be really apical dominant, you you can limit that. You start to have the plant like going on the side of your light and then bend it really heavily on the top third of the plant and like having all that top redivide. But as soon that the branch on the side start to be at the same height than the top, we're kind of changing the weight so that the tip of the branch is always a bit higher. So that it still form a good flower at the tip because sometimes you continue to do that and it just do a kind of a really well anyway a lot of those tropical variety that the top flowers sometimes look really strange and going kind of foxtail at the end, but all the other flower a bit lower are all well formed and more dense. So that's one thing I've seen even outdoor in some of those really tropical climate. So it's not only you that have the plant too close of the light or whatever. It just have the tendency to have the top of the plant foxtailing strangely when it finish. And really worse than, man, people complain about the dense chunk nugget and you have a couple string of calyx that go up. I'm not talking of it. I'm talking about triangular string of string that go like 6, 8 inch long. That it's oh man, it's hard to describe for people that used to get dance flower. But yeah, you had stuff on Antuga. I'm pretty sure that it's growing like I'm talking.
Um, hey, have you seen? I was on that Canada disc and I looked a little bit further in. Did you see that there's a burner disc on there?
Yeah, there was a couple of one, but I did not know if you had some milk to dunk your cookie in. Do you want
Well,
you want to dunk in?
I just haven't seen this burner one, and it got me curious.
Where are you? Yo, baby girl. I've been waiting a long time to tell you this. I forgot what I was gonna say, but here's a song I wrote about the Illuminati. They're posing, I'm judging, I'm losing my budget. I'm doing this shit for cash, not for fun, bitch. I judge males. They're posing, I'm judging, I'm losing my budget. I'm doing this shit for cash, not for fun, bitch. I judge males. Needles all in the trash from an ass. Someone shooting Trent again in the back. Billy offered me 50 cc's of that, but I don't work out. Can't you tell that I'm fat? I'm an addict for money, but I'm getting sued so much, gotta make more honey. I'm a bodybuilding judge, I have to touch, man, no homo. It's part of my job description. That's a front lat spread, 6 out of 10. Get your motherfucking skinny ass back in the gym. The vascularity looks a little thin, but I'll give that motherfucker +2 for the spin. Did he use that whole spray tan can in the back? When I met him, he was white, and now I don't know if he's black. Shit. Getting sidetracked by my thoughts. I better pay attention, now they're showing their quads. I missed all the back poses, I'm too fucking high. Trying to remember if homeboy was a white guy. Now I gotta cheat and copy what Bill wrote. No way that dude's bulge is that big, that's a dildo. Your traps and biceps are soft to the touch. That motherfucker skipped leg day too much. This ain't my favorite job that I've ever had, but at least I'm not a herpy infested look like crusty. Complimentary fudge cheese, a judge seat, $50. You can do whatever you want, it won't disgust me. I judge males. I'm judging, I'm losing my budget. I'm doing this shit for cash, not for fun, bitch. I judge males. Emotion. I judge their males, and I'm judging, I'm losing my budget. I'm doing this shit for cash, not for fun, bitch. I judge males.
I mean, he's got the most lawsuits, so I mean, pretty good.
The
Canada
other
is
day I
Christmas.
went on a talk that he was there talking about the bad decision of a partner and a kind of beef of business stuff. And I was like, well, isn't it just did a big boom of happening everywhere, and then stuff were like starting to go
Everywhere.
on the wayside? Uh, it just made me think at how many pound of weed get burned in Canada?
Yep, lots.
Yeah. And then you have all those people realizing that they should have listened to some others saying, guys, it won't be exactly like you think. And you need to be careful on the type of variety. It's not because it's cannabis that it's like the alcohol. Yeah, there's a bit more level on it. So yeah, the general people are not necessarily into that. But if you start to say that it need to be, how to say, it's gonna be safer, let's say, to buy it legally. Will it be really that safer to just produce less of it and listen more of what type of thing that people really want from? Because I feel like it's more like the company need to judge on their sell more than the direct link that the direct feedback they could get. I, I'm not sure if I'm right on it, but I don't think they got a lot of direct feedback. They need to judge more on their sell. It may depend on the province, but here I think it's
I think it depends on the province. I think it depends on the company as well. I mean, like at some point you have to decide whether you want to be the wholesale giant or whether you want to be the quality provider. So at some
yeah,
point
because
you
isn't
gotta, because you
Canopy
can't do
had a
both.
lot of good strain in their stuff, but Canopy, like the stuff that I had from them, honestly, it was really crap for a lot of what of
Yeah,
I know that was from them. I don't want to trash one company, but
I
it's in the first year of legalization that one of
I
my friend
I
have
never had
buy,
any canopy. I
and
wouldn't have spent my money on canopy to be honest with you, just
well,
because I fucking hate them.
yeah,
Uh,
I don't know if it was the type of strain. I don't know if I still have the package. I'll go look. I know I got one package aside, but
Yeah, I don't
the,
know. I don't know. That was one of those companies that was the like literally jumped in early, got the head start, took all advantage of that shit, and really like made it harder for the other companies coming up. Um, I don't know. Fuck Canopy. I'm glad they went
no,
under.
it's okay. The only package I still have of that shot, it's Tweed. But no, yeah, it's not to trash one more than the other, but it was like a factory weed, not high class. I remember that the first stuff I've bought when it came legal was the LA Confidential. Because I just wanted to have something I've already smoked and seen people having good stuff
Have you
of
seen
it.
how it compared?
Yeah, so I think it was a good comparison of it. What we've buy was a pheno that is a bit more productive, I would say, but not necessarily the best. And I was wondering why the hell they had a decision to produce that strain on a commercial level, because I really don't think it
Because
is.
it makes 30% more than everything else in the room. Fuck
More?
money.
More
Thirty
what?
percent
More.
more
It
weight.
needs. I don't know, but it need like 26 time more veg time. It's like the slowest plant in veg, man. That's like most of the pheno of the LA Confidential are really slow and tiny. And like some are a bit more productive that I've seen, and they had a bit more productive, but it doesn't mean the more productive are that good. It doesn't always go together. And well, anyway, it wasn't that bad. But the thing was that I remember that we smoked it together was the MK Ultra. That I don't know if it was the same freaking clone that used to be passed on the medical side before, but it was the same quality. Mature, everything was good. I don't know if Adam Dunn went to talk with them, but I know he got some foot with that you've sold seeds legally to the firm here. I'm not sure exactly if you've consulted a bit on don't fucked up and try it that way. If it can be scaled on their level, but I don't know if it helped. But I know that DNA Genetic had uh, sold the seeds and do consultation for what have been on the market. So there was like a kind of seal of approval of them. I was like, yeah, I just think on the smoke, some were better on the black market of the same strain. But that's just maybe that a choice of a more productive strain to compromise, Um, but the MK Ultra was good. I remember that one was the one that I remember like saying, okay, I'm satisfied. But then I asked the price to my friend, and oh man, I think it was like $13 a gram or something like that. It was quite expensive, and he had trouble to buy more than that many, and it was going quick. And he opened out a bag of that lemon skunk. It was moist and cut early, but it was smelling good. But
Yeah.
I used to add tobacco when it's too moist like that. and my friend don't smoke tobacco, and I was looking at him, being like, you know that you should let it dry all the afternoon, cause kind of wet. So, uh, I I don't know. Now it's look a bit. There's a bit more of those care made. I've seen some weed the other day that wasn't looking that bad. I don't know what was the strain, because when the guy told me the name, it's kind of name that I've never heard before. And I've asked him, do you know if it's when they rename it and you need to look at the bottom of the page and they say, oh, it's
Yeah,
from that, whatever. Um, well, he did not know about it, but the only thing that he told me is it's quite strong. It's supposed to be a strong indica. He was only able, let's say, to look at some type of terpene in it. But other than that, I did not know at all. So he said, "Do you want to smoke a joint with me?" Like, I'm sorry, but if I really don't know what to expect, I prefer to pass. Like, it's not that I don't want to smoke with you. It's more that I like to expect a bit what type of experience I'm gonna be in, and maybe that type of weed is not something I want to smoke now. I would maybe smoke it before I go to bed. That's an hour before. But that's one of those things that I don't like when. I mean, yeah, I like people that are creative with name, but I'm just getting lost, man. Help me a bit. What type of thing it is? Because like one girl the other day told me, "Oh, I really love it, the train wreck." Well, I've never smoked the train wreck clone, the Acarta, whatever that they talk about.
I've never had the clone. I had to ask one of it that was pretty
Yeah, I know a couple of people that have like IBL or S1
uh,
that they told me, but they I just don't know what it is like that's supposed planned to be like the thing, whatever, at least that have started that many people to miss it when it was less popular. But when I was looking at some hybrid that people were doing, it wasn't a lot of thing, but sometimes was crossed with something that doesn't have the same type of effect in it. It changed the effect.
yeah.
It still look a bit like that, but people that were really looking for that train wreck to really want to get more oriented toward that or the per thing. So that's just a bit why sometimes I think a lot of things they are like, oh, I'm smoking it, I'm high. Yeah, it do the trick, it's the best one on the thing, but they don't realize how it changed when they cross it with something else, or they're just getting us lost. So I wish at one point they will be able to get a bit more of clarity on it, because I think they still start to figure out that there's a different type of terpene, but the THC level when at least for the website that we have here, sometimes you have a strain that is between 22 and 28. I would
Those are
like
good
to know
numbers.
if I'm gonna be really that more high with 6% difference.
Well, I mean,
In the same batch or from one batch or the other, maybe it just changed a bit in that range. But I don't know if I
I
could
think
not
the
sis.
truth of the matter would probably lie in what are the terpenes. Like if the one with 22 has 3% terpenes modulate what's there, it may hit you way harder than the 28 anyways because it's empty
The
otherwise. There's
28
nothing
that
else.
been badly dry or yeah.
The 28 that's been badly dry or the 28 that just doesn't. The way I always see it is like if there's gonna be a trade off. Either if you get big in like nature, you don't get a big brain, right? It's kind of the same thing. So if you're all loaded with trichomes and you're achieving 30% THC, there's probably not much room on that trichome for terps and stuff, right? Whereas if you have a lower number, there's probably more room on the the trichome for terpene and stuff on it. And I think that's why a lot of the like bigger, like the really high producers, like are actually kind of empty strains.
Well, I remember a lot more kind of how to the nug were more closer to each other, and the plant was some variety were looking more chunkier and really large and leafy kind of bud that doesn't when it cut apart doesn't look that nice, you know. And it's really different from now the more nugget structure that they try to go toward. That every bud is looking a bit more similar, and that I understand that it's it's way better for the consumer. At least they have all the bud that look pretty much the same in the bag. And but the terpene level and the frost, all those different type of plant. I mean, let's say you have a really big galaxy, let gelato. I think it's that it get really big calyx stuff, and the flower itself, it's not biggest, but it's kind of a short, chunky flower. Uh, it's not a huge nog, whatever. I was looking the other day at old Afghan strain from that was sold in Amsterdam. Way different bud structure. I don't know. I don't say it's best or better, whatever. Just that those type of terpene and the type of calyx and how frosty it is, and there's a lot of different levels you're gonna play on, and it doesn't always reach out exactly where you want to be when it's a per line. But when they keep stacking those trait like that with those elite new cultivar hype stuff, whatever, that it's maybe unstable for now for certain trait they just started to stack on. But those trait maybe that one that it's how the THC at how they explain it. I remember looking at the study to say that at one point the plant wasn't really not really going that higher than let's say it's 16%,
Yeah, yeah, with
even
plant
lower
number
than
one.
10, let's say. But I'm not talking the hippie weight. I'm talking in the mutation of the plant at one point because of the DNA and everything, the possibility that is there. Some plant started to mutate and had a kind of double digit on the THC, but they had to kind of have that pairing of gene that will be stronger for that, let's say, okay? And in the population, it pop out once in a while. It's a kind of in the algorithm, don't know, maybe 1 in 1,000. But as human, you start to breed more of those and bring more seeds of it in the field instead of the other maybe. So when you do that for the THC, and we're now able to get cultivar that have all pretty high THC and the lowest won't be that low. Um, the terpene level, we've changed the breeding, let's say for more bubblegummy strain and less smelly for a while, but some people still had the stinky stuff of the OG and other whatever that people have used for the hybrid now. Well, all those different really high terpene plants, they may unlock really higher terpene by always going toward there. And the plant may have that double gene, let's say the double pairing on that expressing that. But what I'm thinking at for that matter would be like if you're going twice on it, it may be only on a portion of type of terpene, or it may be not that skunky stuff that will be expressed double. Maybe the fruitiness or the floral side that will be super strong, or only when it's garlic, or and the dominance of that plant may be more toward that. So it doesn't mean that it will transfer in your extract. Because some type of terpene may be good when you smoke it, but there's not as much resin on it. A guy making ash was saying he said sometime lemony strain will make really high quality ash, but not a lot of it.
I believe that. Or with that.
Yeah, for the last one that I tried, that was really more heady and kind of lemony. That exactly what that the ash was really good quality, but low yielder. But everything from it was really high quality, beside a lot of other things that will dump 5 times more. So yeah, the trade-off doesn't always work to make ash with it to a really good to smoke as flower, like let's say, and that's why I think the market toward smoking flower, if it doesn't lead the breeder that much, we're gonna lose some of those unique stuff that are better to smoke than trying to make extract. So I'm not trying to be that guy nostalgic and all that thing. I'm just trying to
Well, you better
not
start
leave
growing some of that
behind some
stuff,
good.
evil. You need to save fucking. You need to save the strains.
I need to save the planet, man.
Save the strains.
Well, I
In
think
turn, you
Dutch
will
Bloom
save the
have,
planet. It will. Dutch Bloom is supposed to be on here tonight. Very
yeah,
disappointed.
holy shit, man. He could have talked about saving the planet for some cultivar that the people have found, and they're gonna tissue culture and clean it out. And
$900 pizza up and all kinds.
oh, now you
He was
start to
making he
tempt
was
me.
making pizza last time he was on here. Sourdough
So,
pizza.
yeah, sadly, it doesn't transfer well in the mail. Um,
Yeah.
if we could ask him to mail a pizza before the show so that we can eat it when we do the show together. But nah, he's too far. He's right in the middle of us. I don't think it will come intact. Uh, Maybe he could give us an extract of his 200 years old sourdough.
Yeah.
Do you know? I think it's like 150 or 200 years old, man. That shit
Sure
is like
people
the
got I'm sure people got one that old. I'm sure.
oh man, it's like the
At the
oldest
same time, that ain't
sourdough.
100 years old. Those grow and they die and move on. Sure, I guess ultra extinct.
They always recultivate from it, and but
Yeah.
man, come on, that shit is like when people start to cultivate mushroom and isolate one of them and get super freaky about that one. Well, the other day I listened at something about it, and they were saying the variants genetic of some of those mushroom that been preserved like that, more a selection on that part. I honestly don't understand how those guy have chosen that one more than that other one, based on what exactly? Because they surely did not eat each of them and trying to do a book note of, oh no no, that one on the right with the cap a bit twisted was better than. I don't know, okay, but I just a bit doubt of it. So whatever they've picked from it that was still really good, they were having a lot of there did not have that much diversity in the genome.
How
And one of
overspread
the things
so
they've found out is they're able to also find some type of mutation that can reoccur of different type of mushroom of those psilocybin type, but it reoccur like let's say that the truffle that they talk about
yeah.
or the enigma. If I remember, both of them can be obtained from different type of psilocybin mushroom. And I don't want to go outside of what I'm knowing there, but I found it interesting that even if mushroom are not in danger, there's enough diversity, all that thing. When people were going in BC eating the Liberty Cap, or I think it's that how they were calling, um, they were not always strong. Some patch were stronger than other. And one guy told me at one point that he tried to grow them indoor, and he found out that he was able to isolate few of them and being, oh, yeah, those one are stronger. So when he tried the opposite with the psilocybin cubensis from Mexico, kind of a classic one. I don't remember exactly how they call that one, but kind of classic strain. He tried to put one of his mycelium outdoor and wood chip and landscape, and you've let it go, and over a couple year, they were regrowing here and there, but he wasn't really picking them for tripping. He was just taking a couple of them to see if the potency was changing over the year, or if there was something for it. And he said that the same thing when it go outdoor, they're not always strong. Some spot are stronger than other, some year are stronger than other. He was like, I don't know if it's subjective, but he did it over a couple years and stopped to care about that. And he said they still grow there when he went in the wood there. But he said it's kind of funny because they've sold that land. So he was like, I'm not sure if the people living there know that there's mushroom that they could eat, and if they cook them, they should not be high. But otherwise, if they dry them, eat them, you say, yeah, they should work. But he was finding it like, oh, outdoor is like for extracting the psilocybin and have a more, you can judge more of the dosage and how people grow weed now. Mostly the outdoor stuff, it's to do with those extracts. The same kind of thing, man. So I was like, yeah, there's something there. There's something there. They want to get the presentation the nicest and each of them indoor the best, but when they put it back outdoor, still go white. Not always look nice one from the other. I would be
A
curious to
lot of stuff that is grown indoors can't even go back outdoors. Just won't even make it.
they get weak as beep because one of those problem with is when they have always equal good condition.
Yep. You become soft.
Yeah, how you can rule out the weak in it? Because when people were breeding outdoor, they were really just happy to have one vigorous plant that happened
Well,
to be really
that made
potent,
it
and
through.
they've
Yeah,
severed seeds of that one.
exactly.
Uh, did you had a couple time where you get that plant that you've planted from seeds and it's outdoor really late in flowering and you realize it gonna be really the bomb one in it, and you know that you're gonna harvest it a bit more early, dig it up, put it back indoor, and try to revenge it, or take some clone also. I've heard some story of people being like, "Holy crap, man! There's like two, three really good plant in the whole field, man." So they they went and tried to take some clone, and the clone were not rooting well, or I don't know what have happened. So they went back in the field and harvested earlier and dig out the plant and try to revenge them and reclone from that. And they did another batch of seed just from those plants, and they were saying, dude, all the progeny from those were good, but the kind of open pollination they did before, you had like five, 600 that are really good, and the other are pretty much ordinary. Even if they would harvest good, they are not that good. They don't have everything together, Uh, Anyway, so the guy have realized pretty quick that when you get a good one, you better clone it and make some seeds from it. Because otherwise you just keep diluting the pool and Yeah, whatever people say, oh, you've watered down your that the strain. I hope that you water your plant. Uh,
You better, or else
yeah, it's a good idea. But no, watering down a strain. I mean, if you don't select for what's good in it, it's gonna be lost. But the detail that made it good may had some other trait that are already kind of hidden in it. So anyway, genetic is fucking complex things. But I find it really cool to get just dig into that, man. I heard a breeder really into long type of breeding line, I like to listen at what he's doing. I think it's Boston Bob. That I was like, why the hell he started with like 5 or 6 strain that all have at one point like that blue dot G13 something like that with that, and then it got
love this
crossed with
creature.
Mac, and I don't know. I was like trying to look at that, and I was like, well, there's something I don't get. But he still keeps track of his goal. Let's say he's towards something. But I'm not in his mind. So for me, it was just like, why the guy have 15 strain and all get the. I don't know where he was going. But then he've explained it like at the type of breeding that he was doing. So to limit the type of inbreeding coefficient. And I was, I get it. But it's funny how we kind of try to stabilize stuff, but at the same time start to work with really related strain founded on the same plant, not the same variety, founded from, let's say that Northern Light number 5 clone of Neville back then. Well, you're
Yeah,
gonna see that plant reappear again today in some cross. A lot of the trait are kind of exactly from that plant, but if you would have popped the whole thing, you would not all have the dominance that we see today that reappear like that. So you could back cross to the strain without necessarily having exactly the same appearance. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. All the fucking Northern Light stuff at one point I was finding it funny. You know that the Indica of Sunset Seed, it's not the Indica.
I
That's
don't
Kush
know.
4 crossed with Northern Light number 2. Well, what was Kush 4 from? Well, if that's what I remember reading on Neville Note. But Kush 4 was one of those things that I don't remember if it the handle that the guy have given to Neville, but that's another guy. Like there was Greg, Seattle Greg,
Yeah,
and there was another guy, Doug or some. I don't remember what's the name of the other guy. Anyway, there was another guy that had a couple things, like the Big Bud and the G13 and the Kush 4 and some really kind of more indica stuff. That I was just curious, man. That other guy, I don't know if there's people still alive from it, but wasn't it was like that guy that had released the G13? Was it like a Dr. Greentown G13 that was like a $200 a seed? Or do you remember that story that you had like a six
G13 I
pack
thought
of
was a
seeds for?
government. It was a government strain grown at the University of Minnesota.
Yeah, but when they re-released the G13, like I think it's like close to 10 years ago, it was only feminized seeds by Dr. Greenthumb of that G13, and it was supposed to be kind of approved, and that just before Neville died that it been released. Yeah, that's I think number one to me.
Allegedly,
To me, it's maybe a good stuff for some trade, but just did not like it the effect itself. Um, n- just not my favorite. I don't say it's bad, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like that much, but the Super Skunk, I remember liking it. It's old stuff.
Yeah.
The Shiva Shanti, the Super Skunk. I remember they were not bad. There was so many shit at one point that it's kind of funny when you're like, did I never ever smoke it? Then you start to look at which year, what it was looking like, how they describe it, and you realize, oh, yeah, guy at the park had it. Just the guy at the picnic table in the dark. I know he have that one. Well, that
Right on.
Northern Light, it's one of those things that I remember like at the corner street being sold for a while. And it was one of those weed where it wasn't stinking weed. Like it was smelling something, but it wasn't stinky, skunky Afghani shit, you know. Yes, Afghani shit. It's like that kind of grassy, pungent. I don't know. Uh, and the bubble gum was the only one that I was really happy for the type of effect. The weed wasn't looking too bad, but after smoking a couple joint with friend of it, it was like barely doing the job. I was getting used to it quite easily, but I always kind of enjoyed that kind of giggly effect and a different type of effect on that one. So I was quite happy for that. But um, yeah, there were some people more recently that had a couple of stuff really bubble gummies, and it had no bubble gum from Serious Seeds or Adam Dunn in it. It
Hmm.
was just other type of strain that was like that. And there's a guy on the Chad Westport that was talking about some really sativa strain that was bubble gummy, like the Bazooka Joe stuff. I don't know what kind of tropical strain that is like that, but I would really be curious to smoke that. If it have that kind of a giggly effect like that bubble gum. I don't know. Some of my friends said it make them into more sociable people beside the more raunchy stuff, more gassy that they say that thing is good when I go look at a concert, whatever, and I'm in my own bubble. You won't go talk with people there. So what people in the chat say there? Yeah, Agnes. Yeah, I'm a lot younger than you. I guess so. Have we had some of those stuff from the 80s when I started to smoke, but let's say it was starting to fade out. I've known more when it started to change, let's say that. It started to change for the good and bad. I've talked with some of my friend and that he's from Alberta, and he was telling me that around 96, 98, everything was starting to be more blueberry and stuff like that, and the stuff from the seed bank was starting to be more prevalent, whatever. But as soon that the early 2000s started with when Mark Emery was at his top of selling seeds everywhere, said like that's when it started to be like a lot of different type of breeder and whatever, and it was always the same big name that was reappearing, the more and more and more. It's like if people did not wanted to try everything and were focusing on few of them instead, you know. What Agnes was talking that your job should be to find that biker ash plant. Yeah, that famous stuff from BC. I know about that. I did not know what it looked like, but I know what you're talking about. Well, you know that everyone that start to breed with Northern Light 5 A's, like the original release or the Super Silver A's. It threw out some good old school kind of stuff, but if you really want to go before the 90s, early 90s weed like that, I mean, it started to be bred in the 80s, that thing, but they kind of stack it, the skunk and Northern Light, and I think you need to go out of those few strain. I mean, everyone that I've seen with what's that, Green Mountain in Vermont, I think. I know that AC is carrying his stuff. He was playing with some Oaxacan and some Colombian and some older Mali, Maui, whatever the stuff they were saying from Hawaii, whatever. And he have really worked towards trying he can grow outdoor. So I don't know. There's some of those more tropical strain or different type of effect of old school stuff that some people have really preserved that and breed for it. So it may not be big breeder because there's not that many people that buy it anyway. How many seeds you think that Kanatai will sell of his pure Buddha massive beside all the freak hybrid with Thai and OG in it? I'm sure those mix with Thai and OG and Freak Show way more early, way more manageable plant. Still have that twist of that tropical stuff. So I don't know. Anyway, there's something for everyone, but please try to preserve the old shit, man. You want to the old shit that look at Mr. Nice. Well, if you talk about that G13 ash plant called Mr. Nice, that thing, there's a couple of people that have a really close, at least close of variation of breeding, of what it is, back cross or whatever. I've seen some people offering different stuff like that. Um, is it green lit? Do you know about green lit? I think it's those. I follow some on Instagram that breed with that and some Super Skunk and Northern Light. The G13 Super Skunk and Northern Light. I know they play with old version of it, and it look really fire stuff. But the people now expect, oh, I don't know, the market expects something different each week, right? If you can do that for your client and have a rotation of things, you have a couple different choice and rotate that every week, 2 week. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's place for that. Who the fuck is gonna die? Come on, man. You know who's gonna die. I guess. Yeah, we can close it out by saying,
Yeah,
come on,
I think so.
preserve what you got.
I think it was a good name. Yeah, the most important thing is preserve what you got. Share your seeds.
Yeah, share it with other people, pure, and play with hybrid
No
too,
one will
cause
get
both
about.
and go.
Right on. Well, everyone take care, and we'll see you next week. One of these weeks, we're gonna switch it over to Friday nights, I think. But I don't know. One of these days. Anyways, take it easy, everybody. Have a good week. We'll talk to you later.
See you guys.
Wait, I'm doing it the wrong way.
Yeah, you're still on YouTube.